My name is Gillian Siddall, and I'm the President and Vice Chancellor of Emily Carr University of Art and Design. Right. So my understanding is that we have actually a pretty robust system for dealing with waste and recycling. We have bins, perhaps not enough bins, but we have bins on every floor, and they're broken out for paper, for recyclables, for compost, and for landfill. And we also have other kinds of disposals for larger items that would emerge in the shops, like wood and so on. And my understanding is that we divert 57% approximately of all of our waste. But based on the installation that you did a couple of weeks ago, where I think you calculated it was about half of what had been put into what was going to landfill could have been in one of the other bins. So that would suggest that we can do even better than that if we can sort out encouraging people to put their waste items where they should go. Right.
Yeah. No.
But I think we need some kind of better system, and this became apparent from your work that helps people understand which bin to put which item in. I think that's not as clear as it could be right now, and I'm hoping that that's the problem, and not that people simply aren't interested in doing that work. I don't think that's true of most people.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Emily Carr has a relatively new strategic plan. I arrived just after it was finalized, and we're now in the process of having each of the faculties and administrative units develop an action plan where they identify actual tasks that they'll commit to over the next anywhere from 1 to 4 years to realize the priorities that are in the plan. So sustainability is not one of the 8 priorities, but it is one of the core values that are articulated in our vision and mission statements. And what we've done in these unit plans is require that for each action that's identified, they also have to indicate which of those values is supported or advanced by that action. Which means that when all those unit plans are done, and they're nearly done now, we can, at a glance, see what kind of commitment is embedded throughout everything we're doing to sustainability, and if there's some deficits, we can address those, and there may be some great ideas for what we can do to improve.
Yeah, indeed. That makes sense.
That reminds me, did you know that the only place in which we use natural gas in this building is to fire our kilns?
The kilns.
I know. The building is not heated that way.
Yeah, how is it heated?
I'm glad you asked. I didn't know this probably for the first few months that I was working here. I never really thought about it, and I was chatting with Andy, and he said that we are part of the Southeast False Creek Neighborhood Energy Utility Program. And it's located under the Cambie Bridge, and it takes hot water that comes from our homes and workplaces through washing our hands, running dishwashers, showers, etc., and extracts the heat out of that, so hot water out of that, which then gets exchanged to, comes through pipes into the participating buildings and heats the buildings that way in an extremely efficient manner. I was at Lakehead University for a number of years. The main campus is in Thunder Bay, but there's a much newer campus in Orillia, just north of Toronto, and all the buildings for that are new builds and are LEED Platinum. So we are LEED Gold, that is LEED Platinum. I'm not exactly sure why, the difference, but one thing I remember about that building, which we currently do not adhere to here, and so something for us to explore here, is the use of plastic water bottles. bottles, or selling plastic water bottles. And yet we also have these really great water dispensers. So if you have a water bottle, you can easily fill your bottle up that way. So, that may be a small thing, but I think it's something that we could explore, at least for water. I either bring my lunch every day and my coffee in a reusable container, or I buy it at Loaf and use their dishes and return them immediately. You must return them immediately. I started using a beeswax wrap, so I can, if I bring cheese and crackers or cut up fruit or something, I can put it in that. They're amazing.
I love my Abigo. Yeah. Yeah.
My name is Jeet Amritsar. I'm with Johnson Controls, and my title is Customer Business Manager.
Okay.
Yeah, the rationale came from the design.
Sure.
So originally, the design from the users went to the architect. The architect, okay, this is where the bins need to be. They place those bins on the architectural drawings,
Sure.
and these are only the bins that are in the corridors. The bins inside the specific studios were not part of the original design. So we eventually discussed with the users, and we brought some over from the Granville Island campus.
Sure.
That's how it came about.
Sure.
Yeah. We deal it on an as-needed basis.
Okay.
Like one of the examples I would use is when we had the Let's Talk About Waste project, and I believe it was Mandy. She did a wonderful job with her team on level 2, and one of the feedback I got is that from animation location A3030, that's where quite a bit of waste got collected.
Sure.
So I immediately touched base with Andy and his team, and it was like, then we went back to the user, who was the lab tech there, and the gentleman said, this is what we need. He needed an organics bin, he needed a paper recycling bin, he needed a container bin. So I immediately called my subcontractor and said, get it to me as soon as possible. So as needed basis.
Okay.
So the information that we got earlier on was that the green bins need to stay next to, say, the mini loaf on level 1,
Sure.
staff lounge, cafeteria, or next to security. There is a small space there earlier that space was used for catering, so we have a green bin there. But that's what my understanding of the requirements was. But if something is changing, then I need to know.
Sure.
Then facilities let me know, hey, gee, this is what we want to change.
Right.
We don't need a garbage bin here, we need a green bin here. So then I go about doing that change.
And then would that go through facilities?
You can reach directly through JCI through help desk by putting a help desk ticket.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, so you put an help desk ticket either by phone or via email.
Oh, good.
And say, hey, I need this.
Right. And could any student do that? If
Anyone
you said,
can do
hey,
that.
I think we need a green bin level 3, we don't have any.
Anyone can do that. Yeah.
Oh, that's really exciting.
Yeah.
That'll definitely go in.
Yeah. Most of the faucets that you see in this building are Zurn faucets, Z-U-R-N.
Okay.
And they have been designed to have a specific GPM, gallon per minute. So
Okay.
when you open the faucets, water is not going to flush down like anything.
Okay.
So there's a certain amount of speed that the water is going to come out, just to make sure that there's water conservation there,
Okay.
and water is not splashing all over, right? Second thing is in the irrigation piece. You'll see most of the common buildings or regular buildings, they'll have sprinkler systems.
Sure.
Here we have something called as drip lines.
Okay.
So they are just long copper lines where water comes out based on a timer we have in a mechanical room.
Okay.
So the timer works in the morning, say from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock per zone
Sure.
throughout the whole campus.
Okay.
And then we have a small sprinkler system just next to the Wilson Arts Plaza on the east side, a very small portion only. So again, that was very important for our lead goal.
Okay.
So those are the couple of examples.
Sure,
Yeah.
that's excellent.
Yeah. On campus, from construction to now, what we have noticed is a lot of gray bins that are sitting around.
Sure. Yes, the big black garbage. Yes, so many of those.
So, so I think it's no fault of the users. They're putting everything into those gray bins,
Yes.
and you know, that's one instruction I give my housekeeping team at the night and on night when you're doing when you're cleaning up your studios and everything. Take those gray bins out.
Sure.
Let the request come in from the user,
Right.
what they need for that studio, and we'll buy that.
Sure.
So that's one thing we are doing, and another thing that me and my team, very basic, is that we try to get a lunch from home. We don't
sure.
try to use the one from the cafeteria,
Sure.
because again there's a bit of confusion. Where do I throw the
Yes.
used one? Does it go into compost
Yeah.
or does it go into garbage?
Yeah.
So those are the small things that me
Sure.
and my team are working on.
Yeah,
My name's Rosa Meyer, and I'm the general manager for the Kilside Restaurant Group, which includes our 2 locations at Emily Carr.
I'm Joanne Orty, and I'm the manager at Ltaw Second Cut.
I think, first of all, I don't want to misrepresent our business as a super green, zero waste kind of, like, we are learning, and it is something that's one of our 5 key values is respecting the environment. So it is something that we use every day in our decision making, but yeah, we're still learning. And I think the biggest thing that we've done here on campus is to really make it a priority to offer reusables. I don't think that another provider in this, certainly in this open space that we're in, and in a school food service kind of situation, would have made that a priority. And it's certainly been challenging for us, but it's really important that we're not just serving everything in to-go and disposables. And it's also something that we do in all of our locations and in catering. So if our clients really, really want disposable cups and stuff, we're not at the point where we are refusing that,
Sure.
but we always offer reusables first.
Excellent.
So we're looking forward to initiatives that we're hoping in the future. We're really looking forward to partnering with the Mug Wall.
Yes,
We're
great.
very excited about getting that going, and hopefully it can expand maybe into more than that. That'd be really great.
Yeah.
We also offer 25 cents discount for personal cups, which is an initiative to try and encourage people to bring their own. I've definitely noticed, even since Christmas, people more and more bring their own cups, and I think the dialogue's been great around that and raising awareness for things like that.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Sure. So the biggest challenge for us is keeping our stock of reusables
Sure.
up there. Yeah, we go through a lot of mugs, a lot of cutlery that just disappear, and it's getting to the stage now where it's becoming unsustainable for us economically.
Yeah.
We have placed bins on the 3rd and 4th floor on either end of the corridor, so people can return their stuff to try and help encourage that.
Yeah.
We have noticed they do come back slowly in drips and drabs, but we're not getting everything back, and it's one of our core values, like Rosa said, to try and offer reusable items for people to use here, but that is a challenge for us. That's probably our biggest challenge.
Yeah.
The bins as well. So I think the bins particularly are not very well labelled as to what goes in each section of each bin. It just has them photos, the pictures on them, and they're not particularly very descriptive.
There is a student group that's working on, I think you know more about it than I do, but working on some better visual infographics.
Yeah,
Oh,
I believe
good.
they said. Yeah, hopefully I think they should be done pretty soon.
Oh, that'd be excellent.
So hopefully they'll be around campus within the next few weeks.
Sure.
And
Specifying or trying to take your food for here and reusables whenever possible is probably the biggest thing. I know there have been people that have requested for here and then it comes in to go anyway as a mistake, or
If
we
run
just
out,
don't,
we'll
yeah,
say.
if we run out because we're not getting our stuff back,
Sure.
but just to keep asking and maybe just have some patience with that system as we try to work as a community to get it working the way we want it to.
Sure.
Yeah, and then bringing stuff back to the cafe and kind of spreading the word about that. I think it's just a bit of a culture shift of working as a community to make sure the system works and not. And then just being careful of how you dispose of waste and trying to set that example and pay,
I think recently as well, one thing I've noticed is there has been a lot of dialogue about waste, and I think it's important to keep that up because that raises awareness. And like I've had a lot of questions at the cafe and like interviews like this, and I think it's great. Like keep speaking about it and talking about it and.
It's pretty easy for us because the reusables are always available
Sure,
for us. So
sure.
I don't think we generate much waste just in our day-to-day here at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely nag people if I see them.
Good.
Use a mug. Why are you using a mug? Where
Yeah.
are you going?
Yeah.
Nagging works. Don't let anyone else tell you differently. I definitely drive like in my own personal life. I try and take my own shopping bags places and my own water bottle, little stuff like that. I got some cutlery actually from the Ltaw Student Union the other day, the hot dog event they had. I had some like cutlery, so I now have my own cutlery to carry around. But I definitely drive my friends nuts. Like.
Okay, so this is just, and you can feel absolutely free to deny me here, but I have heard that you're a really wonderful singer.
Oh.
And could you give us a couple of notes?
Oh, do you have anything in mind?
Oh,
How about you'd be so nice to come home to?